Hi, this is West Creek, and this is just a short talk about what's in the water and all about West Creek. West Creek is actually, it starts up at Divide Road, which is about 30 miles or so, maybe 40 miles away from here. And it actually begins as a creek that goes two different ways. There's East Creek and West Creek. East Creek goes down to the Gunnison and out to the Colorado. West Creek goes the opposite way and goes west, obviously, and ends up in the Dolores River, and then goes into the Colorado River further down in Utah. But just imagine, I mean, it's one of a very unique creeks that goes two different ways. It starts out on the plateaus and comes off the plateaus and then goes two different ways. And this is the canyon with two mouths, is what it was called by the Utes. So yeah, so this is West Creek, and there's all kinds of critters in it. It is very clear, and there's all kinds of fish and other critters. How do we find what is in this water? Well, we can use nets, and we can use other things in order to figure out what's in the water. If I had a pair of waders, I could go wading in this water. You'd probably find crawdads or crayfish, which are small, like miniature lobster-looking critters, and they hide under the rocks. You'll find all kinds of bugs that start out as larvae and pupae in the water. And they go through a cycle, and then they will eventually fly out of the water through a series of changes. Like dragonflies, they'll start out in the water and eat everything in the water, and then over time they'll change into a dragonfly and then fly away. And we want dragonflies because they like to go after mosquitoes. They're called the mosquito hawk. There was, when I came here back in March and April, there was a beaver house, which was right there, and the beaver decided to dam this part of the creek, and because beavers don't really like running water, so he dammed it right there, and they got rid of the dam a little while back to allow the water to run freely. At that time also I saw a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service truck deliver probably 1,000 or more brown trout to this river body, which will inhabit this creek, which is constantly flowing. And this creek is very clean compared to most creeks, because there's not really anything above it. You have ranches and livestock and crops growing above it, and not much else. There aren't any factories or any cities or anything else like that. However, there may be like leaching of mines that are around here. There's quite a few mines. But this is a very cool area. You can see all the rocks that are around. And then we have lots of plants. Water brings a lot of plants to the area. You'll find more vegetation near water, obviously, than anywhere else. This is a very dry area, and if I showed you, if I got away from here and showed you the other area, you would notice that the area was very dry. But around here, it doesn't look like it's very dry, because you have cottonwoods, which are those big trees right there, and we have willows, and we have single leaf ash, and we have all kinds of other distinctive plants that are in here. I have seen milkweed in here, and I've seen chicory, and there's but yeah, so this is a great place for an animal to venture. This is an animal magnet, because everything needs water, and this is where an animal would go to grab some water. So yeah, so the next time you're in a area like this, you can take off your shoes and go wading. This water is Probably pretty cold. It keeps running, and there's other things that go along with the water. Like there's a chemical composition part of it, such as like pH and turbidity and all that type of stuff. Turbidity is basically how much sediment is in the water. This water, as you can see, is pretty clear, so the turbidity is pretty low. The pH usually in normal rivers usually is in a neutral range. If it goes any higher or lower, animals can't live there. And in order to figure how healthy the water is, we could run chemical tests and look for critters and find if we have sensitive critters or not in this water body. But I don't have any of that tools available at this time. But I just wanted to give an overall background of this area, and you can see that there's all kinds of plants. But yeah, so get out. West Creek is off Highway 141 and goes two different ways, and just check out the area. You never know what you could find. There's all kinds of critters that like to hang out here. Plants that I mentioned earlier, this is milkweed. It is highly prized by butterflies. Butterflies like to eat it and use it, especially the monarch loves to eat this. Then we also have, if we come over here, this stuff right here is hollow inside, but it's called bulrush, and it is a aquatic plant that likes to be near the water. Then we have some more milkweed over here, and then we have this blue one that has a very hardy stem, and this is called chicory. This stuff is usually in places that have disturbed area, but yeah, it's a blue flower, and it's a pretty cool looking plant. But there's all kinds of other plants that are in here, like this white one. I'm not quite sure what that one is. And then there's some down in there that have white tops. We have grasses that inhabit this area as well. And then, yeah, this is a tree. This is maybe looks like another type of cottonwood that likes to grow in this area. And then over here, which is kind of shows you how dry even by a river this is a sagebrush. So you never know what you'll find. But yeah, keep on exploring and keep on looking around you, so you never know what you may find.